Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and we are about a week removed from the latest balance patch in Hearthstone, and something has happened. Something has happened that I have been begging for. I've been asking for since, well, the card came out back in United Storm, and it took for over a year, but we are at the point where, well, as you can see here, I was asking that Beastalker Tavish would be good enough to make the Rat King great, and well, as I tweeted today, if you follow me on Twitter, it took over a year, but I'm so damn happy the king has finally taken his throne. I just love this card, the Rat King. Hunter, Beast, Rush, Death Rattle, Go Dormant, Revive after 5 friendly minions die. The flavor on it's great. It encourages board battling. It can be frustrating when it's copied and the thing never dies, but overall I just think it's a cool card, and I've always wanted it to be a top tier card. And well, if you take a look at HS Replay, we're going to take a look in a second, it is at 55.6%. So we're going to go and do a full depth analysis on the meta a week removed from the latest balance patch, what's really kicking butt, and well, are there some problems, because there are some complaints out there. Before we do that though, I want to thank everybody. Look how freaking close we are to 58,000 subscribers. When we hit that milestone, we're gonna have a big giveaway going on, so hit that sub button, make me go broke, and it just means a ton that many of you, I can't even believe that, think I've earned your subscription. It is ridiculous. So if you take a look at like across all ranks HS Replay stats, you would think Hunter is like absolutely dominant and oppressive and like a bunch of orange in here, but it's not as bad as it looks, because if you take a look at top 1000 legends, since the latest balance patch, we do have two top tier decks that are above and beyond the rest. For sure, Beast Hunter, which I mentioned, and Naga Priest. Those are the two best decks in the format. If you're taking a look at HS Replay stats, Vicious Syndicate also put out their report. We'll take a look at that as well, but you'll note that Blessed Priest is like top tier right now. I think it's time for massive nerfs, right? The guy that hates Priest. Face Hunter is fourth, Curse Imp Warlock up there, but you'll note there's a variety. We have Priest, we have Hunter, we have Warlock, we have Druid, we have Shaman, we have Rogue, we have Demon Hunter, and we even have Enraged Warrior doing some decent work. And if they get some tools in the upcoming mini set, which could be announced any minute now, that looks pretty darn good. The class that suffered the most from the latest balance patch is definitely Mage. Big Spell Mage is definitely still sticking around at 49%, but like Spooky Mage has fallen off a lot, as well as Edwin Rogue, even a top 1000 legend. I thought this deck was going to dominate. I really did. I thought Edwin from 3 to 4 wouldn't be that big a deal. Turns out it's a good thing I don't make the balance decisions on the team, because well, so far it seems like it's enough to kind of keep it in check, although in Wild it's kind of ridiculous and out of control, but we're talking about standard here. So yeah, outside of like Paladin, which is just kind of a lost cause, it seems like every other class is basically represented to an extent and is playable. You have a playable archetype, and for a lot of these classes you have a multiple playable archetypes, and that I feel like is a pretty good thing. Are these decks healthy? Well, Beast Hunter, let's just take a look at the top two decks, kind of an indicator of like how healthy these style of decks are. When you're looking at Beast Hunter, and of course like every other deck that runs a bunch of minions kills you with Denathrius, that can be pretty frustrating, but I think the card that probably would frustrate people the most is Harpoon Gun. Pretty much the card that makes this deck what it is, allowing you to cheat out a card like Hydrolodon, cheat out a card like Mountain Bear ridiculously early for cheap, and a lot of the times that just scams. And of course you have the Wild Sea package, which is still very good despite the fact it was nerfed. It only lost one attack on the one weapon. But overall, Hunter is just able to cheat out a lot of stuff, has insane value, has reach, it just does a lot of really good things. But what I like about the deck is it relatively just fights for board. It fights for board. You do have Tavish in here, which can get like infinite Huffers and all of that. And of course you have some burst combos with Denathrius, with Crush, but overall it is a board-based deck, and I appreciate that. And that is why the Rat King, a card I love, is thriving. He actually is good when there's minions to trade into, when there's a board to fight for, because if you look, one of the other top decks, Naga Priest, another board-based deck. My issue with the deck is, well, it's a Serpent Wig or Die type of deck. There are some flexible things. You could pop off some miracle stuff with Boon of the Ascended. You don't necessarily need Wig, but you have Wig in your opener, you're like 70% to win. But again, it's a deck that builds for board, fights for board. It does insane mana cheat and gross stuff, but it is yet another board-based deck. So you know, a card like Rat King can thrive. Face Hunter, another board-based deck. Curse Imp Warlock starts off as a board-based deck, then transitions into the Curse package. Aggro Druid, definitely board-based. Control Shaman, another board-based deck. You see why the Rat King is starting to thrive, and I think the health of the meta is how good the Rat King is. If he's really good, the meta is good, right? And I'm not hating the Hearthstone meta right now. I don't love seeing something like Mine Rogue up there. I don't love seeing Theotar and Denathrius in over 45% of deck. I feel like that is still troublesome. I feel like we might do another Theotar video because, my god, there's so much to talk about with that card. But overall, things are looking pretty decent. And Vicious Syndicate printed their most recent report, number 241, and kind of had a similar sentiment about how this meta, it's kind of nice that it's happened, but it's also like, oh no, we got a mini set. It's going to come and ruin everything. So if you look at this is their top 1,000 rankings. They have even more tier 1 decks. They have Naga Priest, Beast Hunter, Face Hunter, Blessed Priest, Imp Warlock, and then again into the tier 2 of a Control Shaman and Aggro Druid, the Bomb Row. Very similar to HS Replay. I guess they share similar data and all of that. But overall, you can see it's a varied meta. Classes are relatively diverse. You have almost everything present, with basically Warrior and Paladin kind of being the weakest links, but they even have Rogue, multiple 3 Rogue decks tier 2. And it is kind of funny to note that the deck that was like the hotness right after the whole last balance patch, Relic Demon Hunter, it's probably the most popular deck, at least amongst what I've watched early on, is not performing like amazingly well. It's a good deck. You can hit Legend with it. You can do well. But even like, yeah, on Vicious Syndicate, it's tier 3, as well as Aegis Replay, it's almost down to tier 4. So for me, I've actually been a big fan of this balance patch. I am worried that, you know, the mini set's going to come and there's going to be something completely broken. We're going to have another Kazakhstan or whatever. But if you do recall, the last mini set was pretty much a dud outside of Wild. Wild got Neptulon and broke like Big Shaman, Big Rogue, still breaking with Big Priest. It's weird that they left Big Priest alone, but it's such a popular deck and all that. But overall, it's a pretty decent meta. If you haven't been playing Hearthstone lately, I feel like Standard is in one of the healthier spots it's been in a while. There's something for everybody, and I'm sorry. I am sorry. If there is a tier 1 deck at around a 55% win rate that fights for board, runs cool cards like the Rat King and even Insatiable Devourer, how bad could the meta really be, right? Rat King is king, Rat King is doing work, and well, there's a lot of cool decks out there, and I'm definitely not calling for any nerfs anytime soon. See how the mini set impact things, and I think my only complaints, like I mentioned, would definitely be these neutral cards like Theotar and Denathrius. I still see lots of complaints about it, but I have a feeling if they do adjust it, it'll be probably right before the next expansion when they'll want other stuff to shine, or maybe they just figure that we have even more broken stuff in the wings that, well, we might need a Theotar to deal with that, and Denathrius will probably be too slow by then, so you never know. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. Are you happy with current Hearthstone meta? What would you like to see change? Or are you worried about what that mini set may do, or just excited for it? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.